Socrates, why do you say that it is not right to take your own life, but at the same time any man who has the spirit of philosophy is ready to follow the dying?
Cebes, we humans belong to the gods, and it is their choice to decide when exactly we die.
But as we are possession of gods, and they are our masters, does it make sense to leave them and lose their care looking forward to death?
I believe that the soul is immortal, which means a person does not leave the service of the gods upon death. Death is simply the release of the soul from the body. Our physical senses are inaccurate and unreliable, so we cannot find the truth and pure knowledge until we free our soul from association with the body as much as we can, which all philosophers do. This attempt to live uninfluenced by the body is effectively a preparation for death itself.
But why do you think the soul is immortal?
I have 4 arguments for that.
Most people believe that the soul disperses like breeze or smoke when a person dies, and it takes a good deal of faith to believe that the soul will go on living without the body.
All opposites existing in the world cannot exist without each other, for define and generate each other. Without concept of greater, we will have no concept of less. There is also a process by which something becomes its opposite, so that to become taller from having been shorter is known as an increase. In the same way, death and life are opposites that comes to be from another one, and processes that characterize these transformations are coming to life and dying, and these processes balance each other out. If everyone were to die without coming back to life, everyone would remain in the state of death forever, meaning that nobody would alive.
If a person is reminded of something, he must know this in advance. How does it work if he sees, hears, and perceives it somehow, and at the same time he learns it and feels something familiar? Is it not the reminder of knowledge?
Look, if a person in love sees objects that belong to beloved, for example Vera, and so there is an image of a young boy playing in Vera. So, I repeat one of 2 things. We are all born, already knowing things on our own, until the end of our days. Or those whom we say that they know, actually only remember and learn, in this case, would mean to recall.
You see, Cebes, there are 2 kinds of existences. The visible world, which we perceive with our senses, which is human, mortal, composite, and always changing. And the invisible world of forms, which is divine, deathless, non-composite, and always the same. Now, the visible may be naturally capable of being dissolved, but that which is uncompounded is indissoluble. Our body is visible and perceivable, while our soul is from the invisible world.
Therefore, if, through philosophical training, the soul has been freed of bodily influence, it will become immortal when the body dies.
But still, why the soul is immortal?
Let's assume a concept of ideas or ideas. For example, a beautiful object is not beautiful due to its shape or color or something else. It's only beautiful because it associates with the idea of absolute beauty. Also, assume that idea cannot coexist with its opposite. A thing that's associated with fire cannot coexist with cold. A fire cannot be fire anymore if it's cold. Similarly, there is an idea of life, and death is the opposite idea of it. The soul brings life with it, and so do not admit the idea of death, because again, death is the opposite idea of life. And that is why the soul is immortal.